We're back, and who says we don't have culture on this show? The first opera of the season is coming up November 1st and November 3rd. Tosca. We have one of the stars of the show in our studio, Nmon Ford. Welcome to the show. You're all the way from L.A.
All the way from Los Angeles.
All the way from Los Angeles.
And thank you so much for the beautiful weather to welcome me. I feel just at home. Thank you.
Really? Well, we're making that transition now into the rotten time of year, although it's not as bad as we'll get.
Right. Well, there's no snow, so.
That's true. L.A., you don't have much of that.
Snow? I think we had hail once, maybe 10 years ago.
Oh, geez.
It scared everybody.
Doesn't the warm weather get monotonous after a while?
No.
Another perfect day.
Right.
Well, tell me about Tosca.
Tosca is by Giacomo Puccini. It was composed in the early 1900s. You've got the three main characters. I'm Scarpia, Baron Vittorio Scarpia. He's the villain of the whole thing. I get villainous music and a wonderful entrance on stage. The soprano is Tosca. She is an opera singer. Cavaradossi, Mario Cavaradossi, is her boyfriend who's a painter. And this all happens around the time of Bonaparte and Queen Caroline and all of that happening in Italy. Kind of a political drama. I don't like Cavaradossi. He's helped an escaped prisoner. I end up trying to torture him to get the information, but then Tosca comes in, and there's a love triangle. Torture. Oh, it's very patriotic.
You can't beat a torture and a love triangle, and you kind of have a violent ending, don't you?
I do. There will be blood. There will be blood.
Now, what is it? Because I'm sure there are some people listening to us who have not gone to an opera and are not. I don't like to go to operas. Well, they don't know, right? I mean, there's something about an opera that moves the soul. I've had people in here doing various clips of the shows, and I might spring that on you as well, a cappella. We'll see. But what is it about the opera that's unique?
Well, for me, because I always think of opera in terms of being an audience member as well as a performer, the main thing is that everything is unamplified. So you've got this huge orchestra, generally. It's anywhere from 60 pieces in the orchestra to 120. And you have these human voices on stage with no amplification. And they are filling the hall with sound over what's happening in the orchestra. And the amount of intensity that's generated in order to make that happen is just a completely unique experience. It's something you can't hear anywhere else.
But it's an emotional form of art in the sense that everything meaningful is sung, and it's sort of, it kind of, what is the word, safe to say, more emotion is involved than another form of performance? I
would say so. There are some operas or operettas, as they would be called, that have some kind of spoken words in them, but not strictly opera. I would equate it to for somebody who's not familiar with opera. If you hear something like Adele's "To Make You Feel My Love," and you hear that, and it's very moving, and you think, "Oh my gosh, this song is so deep." Imagine an entire evening of that, where Adele sounds like that, but then she also sounds extremely intense when she finds out somebody's trying to take her man, and she also sounds extremely whatever. It's all the emotions together, and they're all sung, and the entire point is that the whole reason people are singing is that the emotions are so extreme that they have no choice but to break out into song.
And those same emotions then are elicited from the audience because they're so much part of the story.
Exactly. There's no way not to feel it.
Well, the comparison in a simple musical years ago was that the songs used to be on the side. "Officer, have a nice day," over aside from the plot of the book.
Right.
And then with West Side Story, the most important words of the show were sung.
Exactly.
But that's times 10 with an opera, right?
Pretty much. Well, it's also reversed to a certain extent. The emotional content, the most emotional content is sung.
So what are we hearing right now?
What part is this? This is from Act 1. It's close to the beginning, and it's just before, I believe, the tenor sings his first aria, where he sings about Tosca.
Now, it always makes me flash back to that famous scene in Shawshank Redemption when the inmates are all in the yard listening. In that case, it was a woman, but it was the same kind of wonderful sound. And they didn't know what it was, but they all just stopped and listened.
Right. That happens.
So the show is November 1st and November 3rd, Overture Center.
Yes.
And get your tickets now.
Get your tickets now. Get your tickets then.
Yeah. OvertureCenter.com. So you're from L.A. Are you UCLA, a Southern Cal fan? Or?
SC.
Oh, SC, it's okay.
Gotta say, yeah, I'm a legacy, so let me say SC before the family calls me up and starts to be upset.
Which is a football school, but they hired the basketball coach who was at Florida International last year, and they made the big splash.
Right, and they had a recent big splash of their own with their football. With their football coach, who's no longer their football coach.
Well, that was a sudden. Well, yeah, we could talk about that forever.
Right, that's another show.
But I think it sounds exciting, and the first show of the season.
The first show of the season, I believe it's the 20th anniversary of John DeMaine, who is the music director of both the opera and the symphony.
Orchestra, yeah, great guy.
He's
Great
wonderful,
talent.
wonderful.
What do you go to next? What's your next stop?
Actually, after this, I go back to LA and I go in the studio for some completely non-classical music, for something completely different. I'm actually working on an EDM project.
Yeah.
So,
and we don't have an orchestra here, but you could take us to the break with something if you want from your part.
You're going to make me clear my throat and come out with a note with vibrato and all the rest of it.
Well, I don't have to. I don't want to do anything unfair, but.
How about that?
That was good. That was really, really good. We'll come back. A question. Jackie's on the line with it could be my first ever opera question. Good morning, Jackie.
Hey, good morning. I wanted to just probably really enjoy playing the villain. I bet that's a lot of fun.
As a matter of fact, it is, Jackie.
Yeah, and do you think that Madison's ready for a Penderecki opera?
I know that we're sort of opening the envelope flap a little bit this season with Dead Man Walking, which is a little bit different. It's a contemporary opera. I think eventually, in the not-too-distant future, Madison could. I mean, as open-minded as the Madison community seems to be about arts in general,
sure.
I think at some point Penderecki or I know something like the Met's doing with Shostakovich's The Nose, or something that really has a strong visual, dramatic content as well as musical. I think it's probably not too far off.
Very good. I'll look forward to your show.
I'm impressed, Jackie. That's right. Tosca, November 1st and November 3rd at the Overture Center. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Good luck and go Trojans. We'll take that to the break, man. It's outside the box.